guys, I'm Samantha J, and this is Design Theory episode number 3. Alright, so welcome back guys. This week I'm going to be talking about what the differences are between an interior designer and an interior decorator. It's commonly mistaken that the two professions are the same exact thing, but they're not, so I'm here to educate you a little bit. If you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe before we get started. And also, the last video I did, I talked a little bit about what interior design is, so please feel free to go watch that if you're not sure. But listen up today for the differences between a designer and a decorator. And yeah, so here we go. Okay, so there are basically 3 major differences between an interior designer and an interior decorator that I will cover today. And it's pretty much education and credentials, what they do, and who they work with. Difference number 1. Education and credentials. To call yourself an interior designer, you should hold a degree in interior design. And once you've obtained your degree and you've worked a certain number of hours in the real world, you can take the NCIDQ exam. And that's National Council for Interior Design Qualification. There's an exam that's 3 parts that you can take, and once you pass it, you obtain your license as a professional interior designer. And basically, to become a decorator, you do not need any type of degree or formal education or certifications. You can just wake up one day and decide that you want to be a decorator and open a business and be a decorator. So that's major difference number 1, education and credentials. An interior designer must hold a degree and a license. A decorator does not necessarily have to. And it does vary by state. So I know here in Florida, to be a residential interior designer, you should have a degree, but you do not necessarily need your license. And to practice commercial interior design, you do need a degree as well as your license. So much more formal education that goes into interior design prior to getting started working in the field. So I actually only have my bachelor's in interior design right now, and I plan on sitting for the NCIDQ exam next year in 2021. So I will take you along on that journey when it happens, but for now I'm really only practicing residential design under a licensed designer. Alright, so difference number 2 is what they do. An interior designer can do some more than a decorator could do. So a decorator can come into your home and they can help advise you on paint colors and furniture and artwork and accessories and all the fun stuff that you can just fill a space with. Light fixtures. A designer can come into your home and they really want to know how your home or your office, let's pretend we're talking residential and commercial. I mainly lean towards residential because that's what I do, but whatever the project is, a designer can come in and really we want to know how the client functions in this space, what the uses of the space are, and we want to be able to maximize the function while getting the highest impact from interior design and understanding what the focal points can be. So we might come in and we want to kind of redo the floor plan sometimes. We might want to move walls and rip out cabinets and relocate plumbing and electrical and do all this extensive stuff. that a decorator should not necessarily be doing. So, and then in addition to all of that, once all the function and the design elements and the finishes of the space are completed, a designer can also come in and do what a decorator does and select paint colors and furniture and fabrics and light fixtures and all of the embellishments and really adorn the space. So, designer can come in and relay out the floor plan, and a decorator can really only come in and adorn and furnish and accessorize the space. A decorator does not design, but a designer may decorate. So keep that in mind. That's difference number 2. And then lastly, that brings us to difference number 3, and that would be who they work with. So a decorator will work with wherever they source their fabrics and furniture. They will probably work with a logistics company. They might work with a painter and some furniture and accessory installers like handymen. And a designer can work with all of those people too, but in addition to that, a designer will also have a preferred general contractor, an architect, and an engineer. And this is to ensure that the space that the designer is working in is up to code and that everything in their design can be done and maintain and remain up to code. So a designer is not a general contractor. We cannot come into your house and start ripping out walls, but we can come into your house and tell you what walls you should rip out. But the general contractor might tell us no because it's a load-bearing wall, or we would have to reconfigure with a beam or something. So a lot of team effort that goes into that. So yes, there is definitely some added layers to designer versus decorator. I hope that kind of clears it up. So education and licensing or credentials, what they do, and who they work with. So when you're thinking about hiring someone, really think about, are you wanting to do anything structural? Are you wanting to rip anything out and replace it? Or are you just wanting someone to come in and help you freshen up your home or your office or whatever your project is with furniture and paint and artwork and rugs and all that fun stuff? So that's just something to think about when you're starting to get into a project. Well, that pretty much sums it all up. If you think there are any other differences between a designer and a decorator, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye!